Welcome, y'all. It is another amazing edition of the Speak Easy Experience. We're going to teach you to speak easy if we don't teach you nothing else on this podcast platform. And today, I'm just going to start off by passing the mic because this one right here, she got a story to tell, okay? And I'm going to just say it like this. She controls the narrative. You'll get that in a moment. However, I want to introduce to you a person who is not a designer. She's an executor, a person who is a visionary extraordinaire, a person who to know her is to love her. And she will leave a mark on you because it's the razzle and the dazzle that you want in your brand. Okay.
Period.
She is the Fairy Brandmother. Say it with me, y'all. The Fairy Brandmother. And she is our guest today on the Speakeasy Experience. Welcome, Fairy Brandmother. You're welcome. So this amazing powerhouse, listen, pint-sized powerhouse all day. Y'all can't tell because she got on her big girl boots.
I do today.
We do welcome you to this platform because this is the place where we teach our creative entrepreneurs the importance of telling their story, mastering their message, and building those relationships that turn into revenue. And I mean, we could speak on all three of those things just between the two of us.
That's a fact.
But today we are going to hone in on a topic that I feel like nobody can tell it like you can tell it. So let's talk to the people today. Y'all listen up. Lean in. You see me? Lean in and listen up.
Not too close.
Wait. She said not too close.
Okay.
You still gonna get a razzle on your dazzle. Don't worry about it. So let's talk to the people today about the false positive. The false positive. And what am I talking about? I'm really talking about when you as the creative, you take the leap. You say, this is me. You identify, right? You check that box. You know how everything now got a box and an identification that you got to check off. And so you check off the box that says creative. You identify as entrepreneur and you take the leap. And then you pack up all your stuff.
Right.
Move to another location.
Hello.
Only to get there and find that it is not your creative nation. Okay.
My Lord.
And so what do you do when a false positive is staring back at you in this thing called creative entrepreneurship?
Ooh, child. Well, first of all, a lot of people, when they look at these CEOs and these entrepreneurs, they look at your Instagram and everything, they automatically assume that you got the Benz in your driveway, that you got the 5-bedroom house, the white picket fence, and the 2.5 kids, right? You may very well have that, but blood, sweat, and tears came from it. And I'm 100% sure that there's days where you're absolutely confused as to how things are going to get done or pulled through. Perfect example. Speaking of, packing up and going to a different location, during COVID, I threw everything in my truck. I sold my stuff. I gave my stuff away, and I left from up north and moved to Atlanta. And I hit the ground running when I got there. I met the people. I did the things. But there was a point where everything dried up. I mean, I wasn't getting booked. Clients were not in need of branding, although everybody needs it. Everybody needs a flyer, a website, some type of marketing. But I had hit a patch where nothing was coming in. And I was still trying to push myself to go to networking events, depressed. And I can't tell you how many times people would see me dressed like this. And they're like, "Ooh, I know you got a G-Wagon outside." And I'm looking at them like, my truck is on E right now. I'm driving a RAV4 and I'm not sure how I'm going to get home. But hey, you right. And at first, it would hurt my feelings because you're frustrated. You're frustrated. They don't know that, though. Yeah. They don't know what you just went through. They don't know that you were stuck in traffic, praying to God that you get to this event in hopes to get a client, right? And hoping that somebody sends you a little $20 Cash App while still looking good. But the frustration is not their fault. And you owe it to yourself to still show up as who you are regardless. And I had to change my perspective. I had to use those moments as this is God reminding you of who you are, even though it feels like this, even though it looks like this. They see G-Wagon on you for a reason. No, you don't have G-Wagon money right now. No, you don't got money in the bank. Yeah, you're struggling right now, but that doesn't take value from you because right now you don't feel valuable.
That's so good. That's so good. And to hear you say that with such authority and such power is just a simple reminder to all of our creators and entrepreneurs that value is not lost. It may be hidden.
Right.
but it's not lost.
No.
Because I think that, you know, you hear all these little trendy, cute little things. Oh, know your worth and add tax.
Oh my God.
But sometimes it's just hidden. It's hidden under the debris of people who are too afraid to dream. It's hidden under the debris and the dust of, you know, what somebody is saying you must do.
Ooh,
right?
That's another one.
And so when we look at these false positives, right, I'm reminded of, you know, a woman who maybe is trying to conceive. And she is checking every month,
Every
and
box.
I mean with like bated breath and the most expectation, only to be let down again when it's a false positive entering in.
Right.
And so in business, when we are shooting our shot, when we are out there, when we are, like you said, conversing, networking, doing all the things, and yet it's another no, it's another negative, it's another how. What do you do when all you have is a no? No, not yet. No, you're not ready. No, that ain't it. No, this ain't that.
Right.
What do you do when all you got is no?
Well, if you don't have a solid foundation on faith, you're going to fall apart. I can't tell you that I would be here if it wasn't for God. One of the biggest reasons is in those moments when you have no idea what to say, what to do, God will send somebody to you to remind you of who you are. He will send you, oh, I find $20 on the ground that day. Like, and it's only because I have faith that even though right now in this moment, I have a whole bunch of no's discouraging me, I still trust God. Right. So in those moments, you have to still trust God. That's number one. Number two, it's very important to make sure that your circle caters to who you're going to be, where you're going.
That's good.
You know, because you're gonna have moments where you are low, and if people are not able to pull you up or at least be able to relate to you when you're there, you're gonna stay there, and it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be hard. Even with God, it's gonna be hard. So I would say, you know, in those moments, if you don't feel like you can talk to somebody, you better get on your knees and talk to God and say, hey, I'm frustrated right now, because he already know what's going on. It's best if you keep it a buck and be like, God, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm a little pissed off right now. I'm frustrated. I need you to hold it down for me, please. I assure you some ram in the bush is gonna come. So in those moments, you have to hold on to your faith and make sure that you remember your why, because your why is the light at the end of the tunnel that's gonna pull you when you're still in the dark, when you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but there's somewhere I gotta get to.
Yeah.
You know?
So when you think about just that perspective, you talk about it's another way to look at the whole dress for success, right? It's another way to capture the thing that anchors you, your why. What got you started and what keeps you anchored in this movement that you call the Fairy Brandmother? Because she was clearly birthed with some pixie dust and some unicorn things. She does absolute magic every time that she lays her hands on a movement.
Right.
And so what keeps you locked into it? What keeps you locked and loaded and creative and not running out or running into these stale spaces? Because you know, you've networked in rooms. It can sometimes be the same people, the same projects, the same trends. But then here you come in, being the disruptor that you are, challenging them. They need to level up again. So what keeps you kind of fresh and passionate about bringing what you bring to these brands?
Well, I first want to say, this is anointing. This is not me. I pull from the source 100%. I didn't go to school for this. I literally sit and pull from whatever God shows me. And I've gained my confidence through time to where now I know that I know because I'm operating in God's way. He got my hands, you know, but, how I stay this way is I came from the ashes. I'm a Brooklyn girl. I used to be a gang member. I survived abuse from my very own family, and I never had a voice. I was always told I do too much. I talk too much. I used to have to put myself in a box and try to live a life that I thought other people wanted me to. And that landed me in the homeless shelter.
Wow.
I was a single mom with a 1.5-year-old, nobody around. And in that moment, after I stopped crying, one, I was grateful. I finally had a place to call my own. I was able to lock the door behind me and no one was there but me and my daughter. So I first was like, you know what? Thank you, God. Like, this is kind of trash, but it's dope because now my daughter can cry and I don't have to worry about nobody being angry about it. But two, I prayed and I said, God, if you get me out of this, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be who you've called me to be because I'm tired. I did everything else. And a friend of mine at the time randomly called me and was like, oh, I know this place that's, having business classes. And I was like, girl, what that got to do with me? I didn't ask you that, but then it clicked. Like, I did pray for an answer. So maybe this is it, right? So I took the leap of faith. I took the classes. And at the time, when you're in a shelter in New York, they force you to go to the back to work program where you got to pretend to be looking for work. So every time I went there, people assumed I worked there. It used to piss me off. Like, yo, I'm here with you. I don't know. But people always asked me, well, how do you do this? And where is that? And it was like an epiphany I had one day, like, oh, God created me to be the change that I needed. He created me to be the answer. So I assumed that the business was going to be helping people to dress because I always, you know what I'm saying, and interview and do their resumes, right, to get them out of that situation. At the end of the business classes, still confused, that same friend calls me and was like, oh, girl, I told somebody that you're going to build a website. I was like, we did not have this conversation. Girl, why would you, did I was so mad, but I didn't know how to tell him no, and I took the call, I sat and I figured it out and they loved it. And then they referred somebody else and then they referred somebody else. And it took a moment where all of these clients were coming, but one person said to me, they called me boohoo crying and they was like, I spent thousands of dollars with other people, but they never got my vision. You got my vision and you brought it to life. They was like, you're like a godmother or something. And I was like, zoom in. Wow. And that was like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, yeah. Right? And the Lord was like, he was stirring his tea like, now go run along. And that's how I kind of was thrown into it. Mm-hmm. But God evolved me in it. And now I am that. And then some. I have no choice but to be the fairy grandmother now. Yeah. Like, I have to be, I
love it.
Thank you.
I love it because what you really just did was take us through the life cycle of the creative entrepreneur. First, you embrace your creative. Right. Then you emerge into the process. And then you evolve into the entrepreneur. And one thing that I love is that we, on this platform, the Speakeasy Experience, we get the opportunity to articulate the brand story, amplify the brand voice, and authenticate the brand message.
And baby, you do that.
Because it's the story that needs to be told. Yes. And it's the survivor that needs to be heard. Yes. And you represent that in such a beautiful and brilliant and creative package. It's undeniable, right? And what you really do is you give other people permission to show up that way too and take up all the space. All of it. I started off saying pint-sized powerhouse in the building, okay? But now the people know a little bit about why we say that, right? And what's the gas in your tank. And so when you kind of course, this is the Cliff Notes version of your story because I'm talking to y'all now. You can absolutely tap into the Brand Voice podcast where you can hear more of her brand story. Yeah. Because she controls the narrative. But if you had to sort of put a nice, neat ending on the abridged version of your story, what would you say is the ending? Is it a happy ending? Is it a hopeful ending? Is it a hard ending? What would you say?
I would say the rose that grows from concrete deserves to be in a garden and will be in that garden if she believes that she can. Every flower deserves the space to flourish with like-minded individuals. People don't appreciate flowers. A lot of them, they pluck them, they put them in a vase. It looks good for a while, but it's going to die because it doesn't have a place to be rooted. So the ending of my story is there will never be an ending because I will continuously live through the lives that I've touched, through the brands that I've touched, the people that God gave a vision to that struggled to bring it to life, and then they met me, the person that God anointed to bring it to life. So there is no ending here. I think that I'm going to continuously evolve because there's a little girl in me that needed a me. So I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. There is no ending here. I'm going to continuously flow for all eternity, for as long as God allows me to.
So the moral of the story is, because there's no ending, but there is a moral.
Hello.
And the moral of the story is a false positive
Uh-huh.
will eventually turn into the real thing.
I love it.
And so if you need a fairy brandmother, the fairy brandmother in your life, tell the people how can they get a hold of you and how can they get your hands to bless their brand.
Absolutely. Both cameras. So you can go to my website, www.thefairybrandmother.com or makeyourimagematter.com. I am also the Fairy Brandmother on pretty much every platform. If you don't see my face, let me know so I could send them a cease and desist. Because I'm not playing with them.
She'll make you disappear.
Okay. And on Facebook, it is my business name, Our Image Matters, LLC. Holla at me. Slide in my DMs. I'm very personable. Talk
Personable,
to me.
fashionable.
You could even leave a comment under my post and be like, hey, I need you. I'll, put the fairy signal out. I'll pull up,
And will.
and shall.
And do. We thank you.
Thank
we
you for
love
having
you.
me.
And we look forward to seeing where you fly into next because y'all, she be flued out quite a little bit. But I'm glad that she had time to stop here and teach all of
I would
us
always do it for you. Anytime.
about what it looks like to embody the speakeasy experience. This has been another amazing episode. Remember, creative is a lifestyle. It has its own language. And me, I'm your friendly brand translator. But today, our guest has been the Fairy Brandmother. Thank you, sister.
Speak easy.
Speak easy. Till next time, y'all. Thanks for tapping in. Like, share, and subscribe.
You better.